6/11/2016 Saturday. I want to talk a little bit about this cashless society idea that's been floating around the internet. I actually went and consulted a couple of people that I know, some banking finance people. I figured they probably would be some good people to discuss it with, seeing that the banking system handles a lot of cash on a daily basis, right? Right. First answer, or first thing that came out of their mouths was, wait a minute. There's no way you could ever announce from the Fed or the government or any other institution like that that they're going to administer a cashless society, because all of the markets, all the equity markets, the financial markets would fall apart in about 10 seconds. They would all fall apart within about 10 seconds. Literally, they'd turn to dust. Because of the fact that, not because individuals want to sell, but everybody would know that everybody else was going to sell. And in the case of that, you have to be the first or second one out the door. You have to sell before everybody else sells to maintain your position, or to retrieve the balance that you have, or the equity position that you have. It would never happen just based on that alone. And then we talked about some additional things, but it would never happen because of that alone. But in addition to that, it would be the biggest, hugest inconvenience that this world has ever faced. For example, what would be the next system? What is the government going to run around, the banking system is going to run and equip everyone with the debit card? Is that what's going to happen? What about all the check cashing places? Every town, every city has a liquor store with the check cashy place. The reason why they have them, the reason why they're so prevalent now, is because all the people that cash checks there don't have a bank account. So if they don't have a bank account, what are you going to do? Make them go out and get a debit card and a debit card reader? Just the logistics of that, the schematics of that, you'd never, ever. It's mathematically impossible. It would never happen. And just based on that alone, the people would go out and find another system to use to bypass whatever system the gov or the Fed's trying to implement. They'd immediately go to gold and silver, only because that's been a currency for over 5,000 years. And that would be probably what it would end up being, is just you would lose all the confidence in the gov and the Fed if they did something like that. And they'd immediately go to the metal system. It probably would expand from there, and that would be it. I mean, could you imagine could you imagine having a dope deal? What are all the dopers going to do? I mean, the CIA and the gov and the banking system run all the dope, right? Okay, well, what if you outlaw cash? What the F are they going to use? The dope game is an all cash money game. What are they going to use? So based on that, they're not gonna mess with that system. There's no way they would touch that. No way. In fact, the last Nazi factions right now, that's one of the ways that they're surviving, is on narco money. Narco money is traded in cash. So you're gonna get rid of that? They're gonna shoot themselves in the foot? No way. Based on that, based on the logistics of the change, based on what is the next step if they're not gonna use cash, there's no way they can accomplish that. It's impossible. In addition to this, see, the government's already tested these things. They already know it won't work, but there's a lot of people on the internet that are getting a little, they think it's real, they think it's a real possibility, and I'm trying to say, no, you gotta think about it logically. Also, within these government tests, they tested this in Tokyo, okay, a few years back. They tried to open in Tokyo cashless societies in the deep city, in the deep inner city. They tried to have vendors, shop owners, have a cashless society. It never gained any ground. And the Japanese are and the reason why they tried it in Tokyo is the Japanese are the most adapted, or the most, they learn computing systems very quickly. So if you're gonna test it, cashless society, you gotta test it on people that have a lot of aptitude for that discipline. That's why they tested in Japan. That's why they did it in Tokyo. It was a huge failure, huge, enormous failure. What happened was they would announce the cashless society in certain grids of the inner city, and everybody just wouldn't shop there. They avoided it like the plague. And these are people, tech people, Japanese people. I mean, per capita computer use, cell phone use in Japan is off the charts. They love digital media. They love digital things. Cashless society, no though? Forget it. Forget it. It did not work. It's something, see, people, individuals, okay, human beings still have an emotional component to themselves. And when they see something that doesn't smell right, when they see something that doesn't feel right, no matter how tech savvy they are, as the Japanese have proven. But for all of these different reasons, there's no way that they could ever change the system over. Impossible. And their tests have even proven that. So what this is, it's a government psyop. It's a government mind control element or test. Not a test, but what they're trying to do is they take these things where you know you're going to pay attention to or get fearful over, and they try and get those things in your head so that your mind is filled with things that are not really important, okay, that take up your time and energy. And by the end of the day, because you're thinking about these other things so much, you're not able to think about the things that are most important in your life, okay? They're trying to take over percentages of your brain energy. That's what they're trying to do. And they're feeding off your fear at the same time. So that's the whole notion behind the psyop, okay, the mind control element. And this is just another psyop. It's exactly like the flat earth thing that's been going around the internet, and everybody's freaking out about this flat earth thing. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But what it does is it drains people's energy, and it takes over control of percentages of their mind's ability to think, or their mental output. And that's where they want to be. They're trying to get in your head. So I figured it was important to talk about, and and that's it. That's all I got. Saturday, 6/11/2016. Post questions, comments down below. Thanks, guys.